Hi, welcome to this yoga for lower back pain class. I have gotten a lot of requests for this class, so I thought I'd film a little thing for you, and hopefully it will help you with your lower back pain that you might be experiencing from if you're sitting too much. I know a lot of people are at home right now, working from home from non-ergonomic desks. So hopefully this helps you with your pain. We're going to do some hip stuff because sometimes hips and lower back pain stuff go together. Hamstring stretching, some strengthening, all the good stuff. So you can go ahead and take a comfortable seat, and if you do not have a yoga strap, something like this, you can always get a sweatshirt, sweatpants, something like that. That's going to work perfectly fine for what we're doing. You can grab a scarf. Those are perfectly fine. You don't have to have a yoga strap for this. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can grab like a thick pillow or a thick blanket and fold it up a whole bunch, and that's going to work for what we're doing as well. So you don't have to have yoga props with you. If you don't have any, feel free to grab things around your house, such as a blanket or a sweatshirt or something like that. Okay. Go ahead and take a comfortable seat, let your eyes close, and take a deep inhale through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. And then do that one more time. Take a big inhale through your nose, and exhale everything out. And go ahead and let your eyes open. You're going to take your yoga strap or your sweatshirt or whatever it is you have that's like a strap, and you're going to just bring it around your back where your rib cage is. So not your lower back, we're going to talk about the upper back for a hot second, and maybe a little bit underneath your armpits or so. And then if you want, you can tie it in front of you if you don't feel like holding it, or you can just hold it. If you have a resistance band, a resistance band would work really nice here because it expands. So you're just going to tie it around your rib cage. If that is comfortable, you can also just hold it. And you're going to let your eyes close. You're going to bring your awareness into your ribs, and you're going to see if you can fill up every inch of your rib cage with air on your inhales, bringing a little bit of expansion out into that yoga strap. So breathing in and out. And you might feel that the yoga strap kind of releases a little bit. That's okay. See if you can keep doing this, but see if you can breathe into the backs of your ribs, into the sides of your ribs, so you get that full 360 breathing. So go ahead and take another inhale, breathing back and out. And then exhale everything out. And then do that a couple more times. If you need to retighten your strap, you can. Inhaling fully into the sides of your rib cage and into the back body. We often forget about the back body when we are moving through life. So see if you can breathe into your back ribs. And take one more like that. You can let your eyes open if they're closed, and just undo your strap and just set it off to the side. So hopefully right away you feel a little calmer. When we breathe like that, we get the full access to our diaphragm, to our lungs. Everything is being used to breathe instead of just breathing up from the chest. So we're going to explore that a little bit today. All right, so stay cross-legged in your legs, and you're just going to take one hand and you're going to slide it underneath your butt, and you're going to pull that butt flesh back. Then you're going to do it with the other side. You're going to take one hand under the butt, pull the butt flesh back. You're going to feel yourself tilt a little bit forwards here. That's perfect. That's what we want to do. You're going to kind of follow that tilt of the pelvis and just start to walk your hands forwards and fold over your legs. Let your head and your neck drop. And if you feel like you're a little bit stuck in your pelvis, or if you feel like you are really feeling this in your lower back, you can always sit up on a yoga block if you have it. If you have a couple of books, you could sit up on books, but just be careful as you stack them. And then go ahead and walk your hands back. change the crossing of your legs so that your other one is on top. And then you're gonna do that again. You're gonna pull your butt flesh back so that your pelvis tilts a little bit more forwards. And then you're gonna follow that feeling and walk your hands forwards again and fold. You can kind of think of pressing your sits bones back towards the back of your mat or towards whatever's behind you, and letting your chest just kind of drape over your crossed shins. And then just start to walk your hands back, and you're gonna grab your strap or your sweatpants, whatever you're using, and you're gonna lay down on your backs, please. From here, go ahead and take your strap and bring it around the ball of your right foot and extend your leg up towards the ceiling. Your left knee can stay bent with the foot flat on the ground. I'm just interested in giving a little bit of a stretch to the back of your right leg. Start to pull your leg towards you as much as feels okay to you. Let your shoulders relax. You can drop your jaw, you can let your eyes close, and just feel your lower back heavy on the floor. Come back to that breathing that we did at the very beginning of class and see if you can breathe into your back ribs so that it kind of heavies your upper back down as well. And then go ahead and bring the strap into your right hand. Your left leg can straighten out in front of you. Bring your right leg off towards the right. Any amount. Notice if that left hip starts to lift up. You want to try to control the right leg for today. So try to keep the left hip anchored down. You may have to back out of the stretch a little bit when you do that. That's okay. I'm more interested in, can you control the leg as it goes off to the side and just get a nice big stretch that way rather than letting your whole body be taken over by the right leg. And go ahead and bring that right leg all the way back up. And then you can just grab the strap with your left hand and you're going to cross your right leg over towards the left. Your right shoulder is going to stay on the ground. Press into both of your heels. You're going to feel a pretty intense stretch in your outer right hip. That is normal. If it hurts, maybe bend your knee a little bit and play with the positioning of that right leg so that it does not hurt. It should not hurt. It can be intense. It is an intense stretch, but it should not feel sharp. There should be no pain. Press through your heels and let your eyes close. Again, drop your jaw if this is a little bit intense. Focus on that full 360 in the rib cage breathing that we worked on at the very beginning. And then bring your leg all the way back up and we'll switch sides. Your right foot can come to the floor. Your left leg can come into that strap. And then extend the left leg up. Your right knee can be bent or it can be straight, whatever feels good to you. Work on just getting that heel to reach up through your towards the ceiling. Let your pelvis be heavy on the floor. You can let your eyes close. Let your upper back be heavy. Your lower back be heavy. See if you can find that 360 breathing back into the back ribs and out into the side ribs. And then you can bring the strap into your left hand. Your right leg can straighten out and just bring your left leg off towards the left. Still press into your heels. Let your shoulders relax. And again, you're looking to find a little bit of control here. So the right hip is going to stay grounded. You're not going to let the left leg just take all of your body over to the left. There's a little bit of control of the leg within the hip joint. And then you can bring that leg all the way back up. Grab the strap with your right hand and you're going to cross your left leg over towards the right. Your left shoulder can stay on the floor. Press through your left heel. Let your eyes close. And again, you might feel pretty deep stretch through that outer left hip. You might even feel it in your calf muscle. That is, again, totally normal. What you don't want to feel is something sharp. You don't want to feel pain. A deep, intense stretch, yep, that's fine. No pain. If you feel pain, try bending your knee a little bit or send me an email and talk to me a little bit more about what's going on. You can let your eyes close if they aren't already. All right, go ahead and bring that left leg all the way back up. Slide your strap off to the side. And then from here, you're just going to hug your knees into your chest and just take little circles with your hips, with your knees to massage out that lower back. And then just go the other direction. And then go ahead and rock yourself all the way up to sit. And come onto your hands and knees, please. Once you're on your hands and knees, you're just going to move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So you're going to inhale, lift your chest, exhale, round your spine. And for today's cat-cow, I want you to really focus on your pelvis. So try to initiate the movements from your pelvis, starting and ending the movement. So inhaling, lifting that tailbone up, letting the rest of your spine follow that action. And then as you exhale, let your tailbone come underneath you. Let the rest of the spine follow that action. So you're inhaling to lift, drop your belly, let the tailbone come up. And then exhale, take your tailbone underneath you to round through that spine. And then as you're moving through this, maybe just start to add a couple of hip circles in, just kind of getting a little bit more into your bodies. And then just go the other direction. And then just start to come through center. Take your right leg and slide it straight back. Take your bottom ribs and your front hips towards each other, so it feels a little bit like you're doing a tiny little crunch. Reach your left arm forwards, press the floor away from you, and lift your right leg up. Notice if you came into a pretty big back bend here, try to take your ribs and your hip points towards each other so that you feel your core engage. Make your left hip like a wall. Take it in and back. Don't let it swing off to the side. Imagine you didn't want to hit something that was next to you. And then release your hands and your knees back to the floor. Slide your left leg straight back. Reach your right arm forwards. Take your ribs and your front hips towards each other, so it's like you're doing a little crunch. Make that right hip like a wall. Lift your left leg up. Notice if you started to back bend, take the ribs in, press the floor away from you with your left hand. Keep that right hip pulling in and back. Try not to let it swing off to the side. Imagine there was a wall of yoga blocks or just an actual wall there that you didn't want to hit. And then bring your hands and your knees down. From here, tuck your toes under, come into downward facing dog. Pedal through your feet, bend one knee at a time, and just kind of slowly wake up your legs. And then on your inhale, just come forwards into a plank pose. Exhale your knees to the ground, come into a child's pose. Have your knees as wide or as together as you want to do for today, whatever feels best on your back. Try to press your hands down and away from you so that the seat of your tailbone kind of moves down towards your heels. Walk your hands over towards the right, staying in your child's pose. Crawl your left hand out a little bit further forwards and think of wrapping your left hip back towards your left heel. Find that 360 breathing we worked on at the beginning of class, breathing out into your left ribs and back into your back ribs. And start to walk your hands through center and over towards the left. Inch your right hand out a little bit further forwards. Hook your right hip towards your right heel. And then find that same breathing. Inhaling out into your side ribs. Back into your back ribs. Walk yourself back through center. And then tuck your toes under and come back into your downward facing dog. And then we're going to do the plank into child's pose a couple more times. We're going to build on it each time, staying in plank a little bit longer. Inhale forwards into plank pose. Press the floor away from you with your hands. Keep your hips in line with your shoulders. And then exhale, child's pose. Take a full inhale here. Take a full exhale out. Downward facing dog. 2 more times like that. Inhale forwards into plank. Stay for an exhale. Keep your hips in line with your shoulders. Breathe in. And then child's pose on your exhale. Take a full inhale here. Take a full exhale out. Downward facing dog. 1 more time, a little bit longer. Inhale forwards into plank. Stay for your exhale. Press the floor away. Keep your core nice and tight. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep your hips in line with your shoulders, not too high. Take another inhale. Child's pose as you exhale out. Take another full breath in. Take another full breath out. Tuck your toes under, come into down dog. And then on your inhale, lift your right leg. As you exhale, step your foot between your hands. Lay your back knee down on the ground, untuck your toes, and lift your arms by your ears. Let your hips lean a little bit forwards. Take your tailbone in. Imagine you could tug your right heel back and tug your left hip forwards like you're scissoring your legs. You're going to feel those outer hips start to engage. Your inner thighs will start to engage. Lift through your fingers. Get a little bit taller. Imagine you could lift your ribs out of that lower back area. And then bring your hands to the ground and step back into downward facing dog. Inhale forwards into plank. Exhale, child's pose. Pull yourself forwards into any kind of back bend. Let your hips drop. Let your chest lift. Tug your hands back and let your shoulder blades slide down your back. Squeeze your butt and take your tailbone in. And then come back into a child's pose. And come back into down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Lay your back knee down, untuck your toes. Let your arms lift by your ears. Let your hips come forwards. Find that scissoring of your legs. Tug your left heel back. Right hip tugs forwards. Reach up through your fingers. Get a little bit taller. Take a full inhale. Imagine you could lift yourself out of that lower back. And then on your exhale, touch your hands back to the ground and step back into downward facing dog. Inhale forwards into plank. Exhale, child's pose. Pull yourself into a back bend. Lift your chest. Let your hips drop. Pull your tailbone towards the floor. Pull your hands back. Let your shoulder blades go away from your ears. Squeeze your butt. And then child's pose again. Press yourself back. Downward facing dog. Start to walk your feet forwards to the front of your mat. And then when you get there, just let yourself drape over your front thighs. Put a little bend in your knees. Vertebra by vertebra, slowly round yourself all the way up to stand.
Let your head and your neck be the last things to arrive.
Once you feel that your head is stacked over your shoulders, inhale and reach your arms out and up. And then exhale and fold forwards. Step your right foot back, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Lift your right arm up and take a twist on your inhale. Release your hands to the ground, step forwards and fold. Bend your knees, round yourself all the way up to stand. Once you get to the top of that movement, reach your arms out and up. And then on your exhale, you can bend your knees and fold forwards again. Bring your hands to the ground, bend your knees so you can do so. Step your left foot back into a low lunge. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Lift your left arm up, breathe in. Bring your hands to the ground, step forwards and fold. Bend your knees, round yourself all the way up. Inhale, lift your arms up by your ears. And then exhale, bend your knees, fold forwards. Step your right foot back, inhaling. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Lift your right arm up, take a twist, breathe in. Bring your hands to the ground, step forwards and fold. Bend your knees, round yourself all the way up to stand. When you get to the top, lift your arms by your ears, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees and fold forwards. Step your left foot back, inhaling. Downward facing dog as you exhale out. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Lift your left arm, take that twist last time like this. Bring your hands to the ground, step forwards and fold. Bend your knees, round yourself all the way up to stand. When you get to the top, reach your arms by your ears, inhale. Exhale, fold forwards. And then this time, just step yourself back into a down dog, however you want to get there. In your down dog, take a full inhale, breathing out into the side ribs and back into the back ribs. And a full exhale out. Inhale and lift your right leg up. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Take your right hip a little in and back like you could touch your left heel with it. And then once you feel like your inner thighs start to engage, start to reach your arms up into a high lunge. Do your best to stay on the ball of that back foot. Keep that right hip pulling in and back. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Imagine you had a block in between them. From here, start to straighten through your front leg, reach up through your fingers, get a little bit taller, lift out of that lower back. And then on your exhale, rebend your front knee into a high lunge. Inhale, straighten and lift. Exhale and bend. Inhale, straighten and lift. And then exhale, bend your front knee, bring your hands to the ground, turn all 10 toes to face the left, fold in between your legs. Can let your head and your neck drop. Let your arms just kind of be like jelly. They don't have to be stiff or in a chaturanga or anything like that. Just let your arms get kind of draped forwards. Think of lifting your butt bones up towards the ceiling. Try to get your hips more or less in line with your ankles. People have a tendency to hang back in their heels here. That's going to bring you further away from the floor. So try to go a little bit more into the fronts of your feet than maybe you normally would. It might feel a little unsteady, but you have hands, so you'll just catch yourself if you get a little wobbly. And then from here, just start to bend one knee at a time. Let your hips drop. and you'll move through a few rounds of Skandasana. You can let your toes lift, you can let your heels lift. No kind of special alignment cues here, just kind of getting into the hips, moving from side to side, taking movements that feel good to you right now. All right, and then the next time you're on the right side, just land in a low lunge. Turn all 10 toes to face the front of your mat. Step your left foot forwards to meet your right and fold at the top of your mat. Inhale and reach your arms out and up. And then just bring your hands into a prayer. Okay, stand on that right leg. Hug your left knee into your chest. Grab a hold of the ankle or the shin or whatever you can grab. Don't fall over like I'm about to do. And then place your foot anywhere for tree pose. It can be on the inside of your right thigh, inside of your right shin. You can do like a little kickstand with your toes on the floor, anywhere that feels good. Reach your arms up when you feel steady. Keep your right hip underneath you. Keep imagining as if you could stamp that right foot through the floor. Take your tailbone towards your heels. So you take your tailbone a little bit in, take your ribs a little bit in, and feel this zipping up through your midline. That helps a little bit with the stability. Bring your hands into a prayer. Turn your left knee forwards. Slow and controlled, step back into a low lunge. Nice job. Plant your palms, downward facing dog. Inhale and lift your left leg. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Again, take that left hip a little bit in and back. You're gonna feel your inner thighs fire up their muscles, outer hips fire up their muscles. When you're ready, lift your arms into that high lunge. Keep your left hip pulling in and back. Do your best to stay on the ball of the back foot to challenge your balance here. And then start to straighten out through your front leg. Reach up a little bit taller, lift out of your lower back. Exhale, bend your front knee. Inhale, straighten your front leg and lift up out of that lower back. Exhale, bend your front knee. One more time. Inhale, straighten and lift. Exhale, bend your front knee. Bring your hands to the ground. Turn all 10 toes to face the right. Fold in between your legs. Again, notice where your hips are in space. Notice where the weight is in your feet. Try to bring the weight a little bit more forwards than maybe you're used to so that you feel your hips line up with your ankles. Let your head and your neck drop. You may feel like you're about to do a somersault. That's okay. Just play with lifting your butt bones up. Maybe the more forwards you go, the closer your head's going to come to the ground. Not that it matters, but if you can move more forwards into the fronts of your feet, you're going to feel more of a stretch in your hamstrings. It's going to be a little bit more of a forward fold, and you'll feel it less in that lower back, which is what we're looking for. More in the backs of the legs, less in the back of the back. If you're down, go ahead and come on up. Bend one knee at a time like we did on the other side. Moving through a few rounds of that Skandasana. Shifting your hips from side to side. You can lift your toes, you can lift your heels. Some people do this with their heels totally down. I had surgery on my ankle, I can't do it. So, you know, everybody's body is gonna be different. So you just do what feels good in your body. If you are like me and you don't have the ankle mobility to keep your heels down, then don't do it, you know? You still get into your hips. All right, come on to that low lunge at your left foot. Turn all 10 toes to face forwards. Step your right foot forwards next to your left and fold. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then exhale into a prayer. Stand on your left leg. You can hug your right knee into your chest. And then go ahead and place your foot for a tree pose anywhere on the inseam of that leg. It might be different than your right leg. When you feel steady, lift your arms. Whoop, maybe you fall a little bit out of it. Press down into your left foot. Imagine you could root down past the floor. Take your tailbone in and down towards your heels. Take your ribs in and feel that zipping up through your core, through your midline. Bring your hands into a prayer. Turn your right knee forwards and then slow and controlled, step into a low lunge. downward facing dog. From here, go ahead and lift your right leg up. Bring your shin forwards into a pigeon pose. If pigeon doesn't feel great to you, then you can take ankle to knee on your back. All that'll look like is you'll lay down, your right ankle will cross over your left knee, and then you'll just draw your left leg towards you so it kind of brings your legs towards you. You can stay like this, or you can use your hands to pull the leg even further. That's your option. Maybe if you have some knee stuff or any kind of hip stuff, that might be a better option for you. If you're taking pigeon pose, you can fold forwards if you haven't already. In your pigeon, you do not have to get that shin parallel to the front of your mat. I hear that cue a lot. Not everyone's body, like I said earlier, not everyone has the same body, so it's going to look different for everyone. So if you're struggling to find that parallel shin, don't struggle anymore. Don't do it. I can't do it. Let your heel come a little closer towards you, and that's going to give you that same stretch to the outer hip. It's just not going to look the same. But that's okay, because you don't look the same as the person next to you. Let your jaw drop. And then go ahead and climb up onto your hands. If you're doing ankle to knee on your back, you can just switch your legs. If you're doing pigeon, just come back into that down dog. And then lift your left leg and bring your shin into pigeon pose. Again, if you're doing ankle to knee on your back, you'll just take your left ankle, cross it over your right knee. If you're in pigeon, let the leg come forwards, but again, shin does not have to be parallel to the mat. If you want to know more about that, I have a blog post about it. It's called 8 Yoga Myths. It's on my website. All right, let your head and your neck drop. Relax your jaw. And just come up onto your hands. And then just lean to your left. Swing your right leg all the way around so you're seated. If you're laying down on your back, you could come on up to sit. All right, so what we're gonna do next is you're gonna take a yoga block if you have one. Like I said at the beginning of class, if you don't have a yoga block, that's okay. Get a blanket, fold it up a whole bunch so that it's a little bit more lifted, like this would be off the ground. And you're gonna just place it over to your side. You are gonna lay down on your backs. All right, from here, you're just gonna lift your hips up. You're gonna take the block on its lowest height wide, and it's gonna slide underneath your sacrum. If you're not sure where your sacrum is, it is basically where your spine and your pelvis meet. So honestly, it's like right above your butt crack. Easiest way to describe it. So that's where your block is going to go, or your blanket if that's what you're using. You want to feel like you're lifted off of the ground. You could use books here too. If you have books, hardcover books, that might be a little bit better, but you just have to be careful because they can get a little bit slippery. They like slide off of each other and stuff, so we want to be safe. Okay. We're going to do a little psoas release. Your psoas connects from basically the front of your pelvis. It wraps around the back and connects to your back. So sometimes if it's a little bit tight, we can get lower back pain. Lots of options for why someone might have lower back pain, but this is one of them. All right, reach your legs up towards the ceiling and then bend your left knee and hug it into your chest. Point your right foot like a ballerina foot. Imagine the front of your thigh could stretch towards those toes, and you're going to extend the right leg forwards and down. At some point, it's just going to feel caught in space. Like you don't have to do anything. It's like a little hammock for your leg. If you are on a blanket, it might be a little harder to do this. You might want to get 2 blankets if you feel like your foot is touching the floor. Sometimes people don't really have that much tension in their psoas, so their foot does come to the ground. If that's you, you can always lift yourself up higher. You can get a second block
And again, be careful. But what you should start to feel is maybe some kind of stretch around the groin a little bit, maybe the front of the stomach. You might feel, again, in that lower back, you might feel something going on. That is where your psoas is. You can let your eyes close. Make sure you're not bending the right knee. If you bend the right knee, it'll just create a kind of laxadacious, I don't know if that's a word. It won't be as tense in the muscles and you won't feel the stretch. That's what I'm trying to say. Making up words. Go ahead and bring both legs up towards the ceiling. Hug your right knee into your chest. Point your left foot like a ballerina's foot. And then keeping, again, the leg is going to be straight. You're not bending the left knee. Think of stretching your left quad, the front of your left thigh, towards your toes to extend the leg down. At some point, it'll just feel like it gets stuck and hung in space like a little hammock for you. And one side might feel more intense than the other. And that's normal. You can let your eyes close. Go ahead and reach both legs back up towards the ceiling. You can kind of bend at your knees. If you hate how that block felt in your back, just slide it off to the side. If you feel okay here, you'll take a happy baby with your hips on the blocks. It's going to help you find your feet a little bit more, or find your shins, or find behind the thighs, wherever you feel comfortable. Just take this happy baby, pull your knees into your armpits. Imagine you were doing a squat on the ceiling. Again, if you don't love how the block feels in your back, you do not have to stay on the block. You can slide it off to the side. And then you can just start to step your feet back to the floor. Move your block off to the side. And then bring your arms out into a T or whatever you have room for, and just windshield wiper your legs from side to side. The next time your legs are on the right, just drop them over. Take an easy twist on your back. Let your left shoulder stay down. Let your eyes close. Bring your legs through center. Drop them over to the left. Bring your legs through center. And then for Shavasana, you're going to take either your 2 yoga blocks, if you have them. You can take a blanket. You can take pillows. You can pretty much take anything that's comfortable, and you're going to slide it underneath either your knees or your thighs. I like it under my thighs. Some people like it more under their knees, so you're just going to do what feels good to you. And then you're going to straighten your legs over your prop and come into Shavasana. If you're a little newer to yoga, you just lay here, you do nothing. That's what Shavasana is, and I will let you know when to move. Let your next inhale be a little bit deeper. And wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to bend your knees and roll to your side. You can move your props off to the side. And slowly make your way up to sit. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. And when you're ready, let your eyes open. Thanks so much for joining me. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. kateformanyoga@gmail.com. If you want more videos like this, I have a whole online yoga studio that has tons and tons of videos that you can choose from. You have unlimited access when you're a member. New classes are uploaded monthly, and you get 4 free Zoom group yoga classes with me. So I can see how you're moving. We can actually talk. It's real time, and I can answer any questions you might have, and I can actually teach you in person in addition to the online stuff. So it's very interactive. There's a whole community. I'd love for you to join it. You can go try it for free. No credit card is necessary. So you could just head over to kateformanyoga.com and give it a try, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.